This week, find out how to fix something that's driven me crazy on so many figures that I've made, which is labels on the y-axis of the plots not being properly aligned. Now there's an easy way to do it. Learn how on this week's MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John Lehman, a software engineer for Unidata. This week, I want to talk about something that has driven me crazy on some figures that I've made in the past, which is the alignment of some labels on the y-axis when I'm using Matplotlib. There's a pretty easy way to take care of that now, and I recently just found out about it, and I'm definitely going to be using it all the time, and I thought you might like to know as well. So first, we're going to do some imports. I'm going to import NumPy, our standard Matplotlib import, and our Matplotlib inline magic so that our plots show up in the notebook. Next, we need to get some data to plot so that we can demonstrate the problem. So I'm going to use array range from NumPy and create 0 to 99 as an array. And then using NumPy's random module, I'm going to create a 100 length array of random numbers between 0 and up to 1. Notice that this interior is still surrounded with parentheses because that's specifying the shape. So for example, if I wanted a 100 by 100 array, we would use it like that. But in this case, just one-dimensional is fine. So now let's go ahead and make a plot. I'm going to use the subplots method to do this. It generates my figure and my axes all at once, which I think is a very nice bit of syntax. So figure and axes, I'm using that unpacking syntax. And I want 2 rows of plots. Now this technique will work on any number of plots, but this is a minimal example to show you the problem that we face. On the first axis, I'm going to plot x and y. On the second axis, I'm going to plot x and y. Then we're going to set the y label to be variable 1. And we're going to set the y label to be variable 2. So if we run that cell, here's what we get out. And this looks great. We've got 2 plots of some fake random data and 2 y-axis labels. But what happens if these are not the same order of magnitude? Here, they're both the exact same data. They're between the 0 and 1. But what happens if, let's say we multiply one of those by 1,000? Well, now we've got a much wider tick label here, which has pushed the y label for that axis off to the left, and those y labels no longer line up. Now, I've done all kinds of tricks before. I've either normalized my data to try to make it plot like I want. I've moved things in Illustrator and post-editing of the figure. I've played with spacing, but there's a lot easier way to deal with this. So we're just going to go back up here, and we're going to add one command. This command hangs off the figure object, and it's called align labels. If we run that cell, we now see that the labels are indeed aligned. I don't have to mess with padding. I don't have to worry about any of that. Matplotlib just takes care of it for me. Now, by default, this works on all of the axes in the figure. But if I use Shift-Tab to see what's in the docstring here, you see we have this argument that we can pass where we can specify which axes we want. So if I had a plot of 6 by 6 panels and I only wanted to align certain ones, others I didn't or didn't care about, I could specify the axes that I want aligned here, and it will just perform this operation on those axes. So this is a really handy trick, though it's just a one-liner, and solves what I think is a pretty common pain point in Matplotlib to make your figures pixel perfect just like you want them. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.